The Republic of San Magnolia has been at war with the Empire of Giad for years. However, thanks to both sides using unmanned drones to fight, the Republic boasts that they are fighting an ethical war since no humans are actually getting killed. However, in reality, the Republic's juggernauts are actually being secretly piloted by humans called 86s from the Republic's unofficial 86th district. Major Vladilena Milizé is a handler, an officer in charge of commanding 86 seconds in battle. Though she has a reputation for treating 86 seconds as humans, one day Lena is suddenly appointed to be the handler for the prestigious Spearhead squadron, made up of the most elite 86 pilots. Shin, known as the Undertaker, has a reputation for destroying handlers. Meanwhile, on the front lines, the pilots of Spearhead live as best a life as they can while taking personal glee at tormenting every handler sent to them. However, during one battle, one of them is mortally wounded, and Shin lives up to his name by mercy killing him. Later that night, Lena contacts Spearhead and introduces herself to them. 1 week after Lena assumes command of Spearhead, one of the Empire's legions sends an attack wave towards Spearhead's position, forcing them to mobilize and counterattack. Lena witnesses Shin's battle prowess as he single-handedly destroys the Legion's most powerful units. Afterwards, Lena attends a history class for handler recruits while the teacher explains that since it is believed the Empire has wiped out their own legions and the legions have a set lifetime, it is predicted that the war will end within 2 years when the legions automatically shut down. Lena then takes control of the lecture and reveals to the students that during the war, the Republic revoked all citizenship and human rights of the nation's non-Alba population and forced them to pilot their juggernauts. Since 86 seconds are no longer considered human, their losses are no longer counted as fatalities. Lena stresses to the students that 86 seconds are human and should be treated as such. While this angers the government monitors, Lena is confident her uncle can protect her. When speaking with her friend Annette, Lena says that she has a positive impression of Shin despite his reputation. That night, Lena continues her daily conversations with Spearhead. Spearhead gradually warms up to Lena, particularly Shin, who shows a rare smile. However, mixed opinions linger among the members. Hirina nurses resentment fueled by jealousy over Lena's closeness to Shin and a deep-seated anger towards Alba, stemming from her parents' execution. Kai, on the other hand, becomes intrigued by Lena's nuanced perspective on the 86 seconds and Alba, recognizing the complexity beyond stereotypes. Simultaneously, Lena strives to improve battlefield maps for Spearhead. When Kai questions Lena's profound concern for the 86 seconds, Lena discloses a personal debt to an 86 pilot who saved her life. Kai, expressing concern for Lena's attachment, suggests she transfer to avoid potential repercussions. In the subsequent battle, Lena utilizes her enhanced maps for Spearhead's advantage. Despite success, tragedy strikes as Kai seemingly perishes in a marsh. Lena, blaming herself for not spotting the danger, apologizes to Spearhead, triggering an emotional breakdown. Theo, one of the pilots, unleashes a harsh rant, accusing Lena of insincerity and highlighting her failure to learn their real names, intensifying Lena's emotional turmoil. The complexities of relationships within Spearhead, Lena's internal struggles, and the harsh realities of war and prejudice contribute to the story's depth. Theoto is chastised by Raiden for his rant, even though they don't disagree with what he said. However, they find issue with how he expressed himself, and now they are convinced that Lena will transfer out. Meanwhile, Lena reflects on idealism, especially after conversations with her uncle and Annette, realizing her subconscious prejudice against the 86 seconds. Feeling remorseful, Lena privately calls Shin to apologize for her actions. She asks him to provide the real names of the Spearhead members. Shin then connects Lena to the rest of Spearhead, where she apologizes for making assumptions about them and asks for their real names, introducing herself in return. Theo also apologizes to Lena for the way he delivered his rant. While Spearhead ultimately accepts Lena's apology and acknowledges her as their handler, they remind Lena that, as long as she commands them from behind the Republic's walls, they will never see her as a true equal. Later that night, Lena calls Shin again, realizing that he never told her his name. When Shin reveals his name, Lena asks if he knows a man named Shinei Nouzen, and Shin discloses that Chode is his brother. Lena tells Shin how Shinei saved her life in a Legion ambush that killed her father and how he was kind and compassionate, wanting nothing more than to go back home to see Shin again. Just then, Shin warns Lena of a Legion offensive, despite the fact that she hasn't received any notifications from command. Shin also warns Nina to cut her parried link with them due to the presence of black sheep in the Legion, but Lena insists on staying connected. However, during the battle, Lena begins to hear voices of people in distress, including Kai's last words, and goes into shock. Though traumatized by the experience, Lena works up the courage to contact Shin again, and he explains that due to a near-death experience, he can hear the voices of the dead from the legions, which is how he can predict their movements. The legions' programming, modeled after the human brain, enables them to copy and imprint the thoughts of their battlefield victims. This process gives rise to black sheep and shepherd models, possessing superior performance and intelligence. The legions, surpassing the Republic's understanding, have evolved a method to extend their lifespans, making their defeat seemingly inevitable. Hearing all this, Lena resolves to work with Shin to destroy the Legion Shepherd commanders within 1 year to end the war for good. Later that night, it is revealed that Shin bears a scar on his neck from a time when Shaorei attempted to strangle him. 4 years in the past, a young Shin searches through an old battlefield, discovering Shorty's headless corpse. In the present, the Legion rapidly evolves its tactics to counter Spearhead ambushes. During the latest battle, Spearhead suffers 2 casualties, Daya and Mika. Shin is forced to mercy kill Daya to prevent the Legion from harvesting his brain. It is revealed that Shin is focused on finding Cordy's missing head, and he harbors resentment towards Chode, who had attempted to strangle him in the past, blaming Shin for the death of their parents. Meanwhile, Lena celebrates her birthday with Annette and inquires about the fate of individuals with abnormal reactions to the para-raid. Annette explains that an 86 would be dissected for study, while a handler would undergo examination before being transferred. Lena petitions her uncle for additional military support and replacements for Spearhead's losses. However, he refuses and orders her and Spearhead to attack a Legion base under construction. Shin agrees to carry out the mission despite knowing it is likely a trap. Lena, during this time, opens up to Shin about her memories of Shore and realizes she has developed feelings for him, coinciding with the upcoming Revolutionary Festival. Lena arranges to have a crate of fireworks smuggled to Spearhead. She also continues to advocate for supplies and reinforcements to be sent to Spearhead, and her uncle finally appears to agree. During the festival, Lena is forced to attend a party while Spearhead celebrates with the smuggled fireworks. Later, Spearhead prepares for their planned attack on the Legion base, but they are suddenly ambushed by ultra-long-range artillery fire that inflicts heavy losses, forcing Spearhead to retreat and leaving only a handful of Spearhead members alive. As Lena promises to secure more reinforcements, Shin decides to tell her the truth about Spearhead. It's a suicide unit meant to kill off every 86 who reaches near the end of their term to ensure they can never return to the Republic. Spearhead will only be replenished when every current member is dead. Lena then asks why they still fight if their death is certain, and Raiden explains they want to keep their pride by going down fighting rather than simply accepting death. Meanwhile, in another sector, a new type of Legion unit completely obliterates a Juggernaut squadron after retreating back to base. Shin reveals to Raiden that he heard Shaorei's voice among the Legion and he is eager to confront him one final time. Meanwhile, Lena studies Spearhead's history and discovers that numerous previous iterations of the unit had been sent on special reconnaissance missions to guarantee their destruction. She goes to Annette to ask for help, which only makes Annette furious, as Lena's idealism only reminds her of how she allowed her neighbors, who were friends in 86 seconds, to be taken away by the government. Annette reveals that their para-raid technology was developed by performing human experimentation on 86 seconds, and her own father committed suicide from the guilt. Lena and Annette have a falling out, and Lena goes to her uncle next to protest Spearhead's upcoming special reconnaissance mission. However, he explains that the complete extermination of the 86 seconds is necessary because if the truth of their treatment ever got out, the Republic would immediately become a pariah state among foreign nations, unable to do anything. Lena can only bid Shin farewell. Shin informs Lena that once he destroys Shaorei, who is now a shepherd, he will cause enough confusion among the Legion that she will have a chance to escape the country. On the day of the mission, the last remaining members of Spearhead, Shin, Raiden, Theo, Korna, and Anju, clean out their base and head out. Meanwhile, Shaorei moves out to intercept them, eager to assimilate Shin into the Legion as a warped desire to protect him, while Spearhead engages the main Legion forces. Shin heads directly for Shaorei to battle him one-on-one. However, Shaorei's shepherd unit proves to be too well armored and advanced for Shin to take on alone, and he is knocked unconscious when his Juggernaut is hit. Meanwhile, Lena approaches Annette again, revealing that she has figured out that Shin and Shaorei were the neighbors Annette abandoned. Feeling guilty, Annette agrees to hack the Republic's artillery system to give Lena control of it, and she provides much-needed artillery support, destroying the Legion forces and disabling Xiaorui long enough for Shin to regain consciousness and destroy him, regaining his sanity. Xiaorui apologizes to Shin before his machine explodes, with Xiaorui and the Legion forces in the area destroyed. Spearhead decides to continue pressing forward beyond the Republic's borders to find their freedom. Realizing Spearhead is leaving without her, Lena has no choice but to watch as Spearhead travels out of range of the parried system and disappears. Now free from the Republic's control, Spearhead travels deeper into Old Empire territory, avoiding Legion patrols until reaching a river their juggernauts cannot cross alone. With their progress stopped, Spearhead takes the opportunity to rest, relax, and explore a nearby abandoned Imperial town. They note that Shin seems far more relaxed and easygoing now that he has set Xiaorui free, and been able to confide in Lena about his troubles. The next day, Shin returns to the town to confront a damaged black sheep that he was able to hear, and Mercy kills it by destroying its core. Afterwards, he tells the rest of Spearhead that he intends to find a foreign nation the Legion hasn't been able to conquer where they can live in peace. 2 weeks later, Spearhead's robot companion Fido recalls its memories of being found by Shin and leaving with Spearhead before it is destroyed by an explosion. After a skirmish with the Legion, all but one of Spearhead's juggernauts are disabled, and Fido too, crippled to move, forcing Spearhead to leave it behind. In addition, most of their supplies were destroyed, leaving them with limited prospects of traveling any further. With no choice, Spearhead continues on to another abandoned Imperial town where they spend the night in a school, and briefly role-play being students again. The next day, Shin takes the last remaining juggernaut to intercept the Legion, intending to use himself as a decoy for the rest of Spearhead to escape. However, Shin's friends follow him into battle, and all of them are seemingly killed when Shin hears the voice of another shepherd. Meanwhile, Lena arrives at Spearhead's base as the replacement Spearhead is transferred in. She explores the base and finds a note left behind by Spearhead expressing their final farewells towards her, as well as a request to adopt a kitten they had been keeping as a pet. Inspired by Spearhead's words, Lena resolves to keep fighting and moving forward. Elsewhere, Shin appears to have a dying dream of being reunited with Xiaorui in the afterlife, leaving his headless body behind.